Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship, New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today we're down below in what was, during World War II, the ship's main radio room. The space then had two 600 hertz generators in it that were added in the 80s. The Navy took those generators after the ship was decommissioned, and so they were empty rooms. So this is one of only 3 spaces on the ship that we have backdated to look like it would have during World War II. It's not a workspace that was used by any of our 80s crew in any significant way. The original stuff was removed or destroyed, and the space had historic significance during an earlier time period. So that's why this space is one of only a few that are not interpreted like the ship's period of interpretation, which is around 1990 during her last active period. So one of the things that we've put back into the World War II radio room is a brass tube like this one. Tubes like this were once important features of the radio spaces and command and control spaces on the battleship. This tube, which we cut off of, I believe it came off of the cruiser Des Moines, specifically so that we could put it in here and make it look right. It's supposed to be analogous to the ship's pneumatic tube system that we had. Check out this picture of a tag from the midships passageway just at the head of Broadway that says that the ship once had pneumatic tubes. So this ship was built with a ton of pneumatic tubes. It would have gone from radio spaces to command and control spaces like the bridge and admiral spaces. You guys have all seen how pneumatic tubes work. It's got a cylindrical container. You put a message in, you open up the tube, put it in, and like vacuum sucks it up to another space. And likewise, it'll shoot stuff down that they can send something down. It's just a way of passing messages. With digital stuff, we don't really do that much anymore. But this was one of the ways you could text message during World War II, especially compartment to compartment on the ship. One of the really cool things is the Iowas all lost theirs, but the aircraft carrier Midway operated during very similar time periods to the Iowa-class battleships, retained hers throughout her entire career. In fact, she might have had some more added as the flag space locations were changed and updated. She received some major modifications. And it was really cool visiting Midway last month in San Diego and seeing just these banks of pneumatic tubes, each one labeled with where it goes. And one of my favorite things about visiting other museum ships, especially really well-restored museum ships, is seeing those features that my ship would have had at one time, but no longer does. And that really helps me picture what this space would have looked like. Here's an interesting caveat to that. Midway has an NTDS system, Naval Tactical Data System, where she is receiving and transmitting information on the location of friendly and enemy or unknown ships, and they're able to transmit that back and forth. New Jersey never receives this system. Instead, we're like receiving radio messages of position reports over link 11, and then those messages are being run from the radio room up to CEC so they can be plotted. That's the best way we've been able to figure that they get transmitted around the ship. So it doesn't make sense that Midway, a ship that has capabilities like that already indigenous to her, is also retaining the pneumatic tubes. Well, the Iowas that could have really made use of this message transfer system have lost their pneumatic tubes. I suspect, though I don't know Midway's blueprints well enough to confirm this, that the main issue is that New Jersey's radio room changes position. This radio room is inside the armored deck of the ship. They couldn't take out all this old stuff and put in the new radio equipment, so they moved the radio room to the main deck. and that is on the tour route. You can come and see it anytime. But it means that all the original runs for the pneumatic tubes no longer went anywhere. So that's probably why they're removed at that time. And then these ships were brought back in kind of an Austere restoration. So they didn't pay to reinstall them somewhere else. I suspect Midway's radio room stayed in more or less the same place. And then, of course, when they put our radio room in, this is a battleship. She's got armor plate. They dropped an armored roof on top of it, and they armored the walls on the side. So they might not have wanted a penetration the size of a, I don't know, 3 or 4 inch wide tube being cut in that for multiple pneumatic tubes going to various places. So there might have been actual armor reasons why they didn't do this, or it might have been purely cost reasons why they remove it and don't put them back in. But pneumatic tubes were an interesting capability that did add something to the battleship when they were here, and I suspect were sorely missed when they were removed, especially by whoever that runner was who had to take messages from the radio room up to the bridge or the Admiral's bridge or Combat Engagement Center. So we're talking about that equipment right now because it's Leyte Golf Week, and of course, one of the most famous radio messages in human history is received in this radio room down here, decoded on the other side of this bulkhead in the radio room's coding room, and then sent by pneumatic tube up to the flag bridge where Admiral Halsey was. That, of course, is the famous "Where is Task Group 34, the World Wonders" message. So, while the battleship may not have played a large role in the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the pneumatic tubes on the battleship sure did. What's some other equipment on the battleship that made her a successful flagship? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about us and the channel. Thanks for watching.